Hey guys, Tarke here, and before we get into this, excuse the appearance, I've just jumped out of the shower and can be bothered to get changed. Cool. So, quick update on the Raider Rain of Arrows character. Raider is an issue, I need to change it. I'm going to quickly explain why, and I'm going to run a map, so don't worry. And I'm going to explain why before I run the map, because I don't like this character defense. I don't want to fuck up and rip because I'm not paying attention, because I haven't got much currency outside of what I'm currently wearing. So, what is the main issue? As you know, when I did the skill tree comparison in yesterday's video, I talked about my different plans for the character. I picked the Raider variant over the Slayer variant because of the damage comparisons. So if you look, the Raider has 162k damage compared to the Slayer, which has 200k damage without including point blank. With point blank, it has significantly more damage. But off the bat, you're looking at like a 40k difference, which is just under 25% increased damage. Having 1/4 of the damage extra is kind of a big deal. But anyway, the reason why I chose to pick Raider was to have the extra movement speed. The movement speed difference is about 50-ish% roughly, and the elemental status immunity. My reasoning was if I could get enough damage, having all this extra movement speed and having the just auto-generated gameplay would more than make up for it. The issue, however, and this is the exact same issue I had on my last Raider, is, as you can see from the tree, it involves a lot of traveling, and where you make up most of your damage scaling is on the jewels. Because of that, the tree is quite limited until it reaches like level 90, and you have everything filled in. The character is currently level 86, and once you've had all the jewels filled in, and it's not until you kind of like have all your best gear that you then sort of get to make use of the insane movement speed that you have from the Raider. So you either need to have like insane gear going into it to make up for a very travel heavy tree, right? Or you need a lot of levels. Does that make sense? The reason why a lot of CI builds are so powerful is because they're so clustered that they are consistent from the get-go. This, as you can see, has a lot of travel, so it's very inefficient until it completes its travel or has good gear to carry it. Okay, so you follow me. Now, what this means is you end up feeling particularly sluggish because you're not quite good enough. So what I did to combat this was I actually stopped using red arrows and started playing split arrow burning arrow because of the sudden ignition jewel giving me double ignites on my burning arrow. It carried my single target. The problem I then had was I was just playing my old character and I want to make a rain of arrows build. So I'm going to show you a map just so you can sort of see how the character works. Again, the character does work. It's just to pull it off as a raid, you need a lot more investment. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build much heavier around a pure Herald setup, like I've seen people do in the previous league. Waggle made a very good Slayer Herald of Ash character, and that was before we had the new nose on the skill tree, before we had stuff like, what do you call it, sorry, the Wise Oak, etc., and it worked very well for him. The other big issue that I'm having, as you can see right now, is I'm not actually running Anger. I'm just using a Herald of Ash and a Flammability Blasphemy setup. The reason that is I've been duo mapping with Kayn, and Kayn is running a Righteous Fire character. Now, at first you'd think, oh, we'd have amazing build synergy, because it'd be one of those things of his build applies Flammability, Elite Weakness, and Procs EE, and I do loads of fire damage, so this seems like really good synergy, right? No, the problem being is I can't run Anger. Now, right now, you're like, well, Tarke, this damage doesn't seem that bad. You're clearing fairly well. It's not like breakneck speeds, but you're one-tapping most packs. I really don't see why you're complaining so much. The issue is the second you get into 2-player HP, his gear isn't very good, and I can't carry his damage right now. And also, the character feels very squishy. So if I played in softcore, I would be more than fine with this current setup and just sort of doing whatever. And right now, I'm just using a 4-link burning arrow for single target. So it's a situation of do that, and you can see it's okay. Like, that wasn't the fastest strand you've ever seen, but at the same time, you're not all telling me to kill myself 0 DPS Xeno build, right? So you can see it does clear pretty well. That is, however, with my we've gone split arrow, burning arrow to carry. This character I've already played. I played this exact character to 90 earlier in the league. I don't want to just recreate the exact same character. So because of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change into the Slayer, and again, a reasoning for it is you get a bit more AoE scaling from the Slayer version, using stuff with Headsman. And having all this extra super leech means I can face tank quite well. And because you can face tank from the super leech, you can make point blank work for you in a hardcore scenario, etc, etc, etc. And I'm basically just going to build around a pure kind of like Prolif setup. Now, overall, which is the better character? How's it all going to work? This setup, if I can pull it off, should be able to carry damage a lot harder in groups. It will most likely just be like a 4-link Herald go crazy setup, since I'm not going to be running anger or anything, and just sort of trying to punch through. The other option I have available to me, if I decide that I really can't get Rain of Arrows to work the way I want it to, and I just want to go clear speed, is I'll play some kind of like Emberwake taming, Prolif Ignite DPS build. So again, for the record, the Raider version works fine. It does feel a bit weak early to level, but as you saw from that strand, you can clear the content, and that's just with a shitty 4-link single target, not running opals. My gear is decent. I do have the Xoph's Blood. I do have a Combs. Oh, and one very important thing, Rimnar's Resolve got crazy buffed. This is like Cherubim level sleeper. Really good. It gives up to 40% increased fire damage, 70 life, and 30 cold res. Also, if you were doing the Emberwake taming setup, you would most likely run either Tornado Shot or Blast Rain. Blast Rain has the fire tag. So if you're running this helm in a Blast Rain build using Emberwake taming, you get chill and freeze immune if you've cast recently. So if your clear speed is good enough, you can kind of afford to drop freeze removal on your flasks. It's kind of sketchy, but if you play correctly, like you fire off before you open strong boxes and stuff, you can basically get away with it. And even if you're just playing a normal build, this is just a very solid helm for any fire build out there which uses life. Getting 40% damage which double dips is huge. Even in 3.0 when they remove double dipping, this is still going to be a very nice helm. But anyway, if you have any suggestions to this build, leave it down below. I'm just going to remake literally the second I finish this video, get the Slayer up, and try and give you an update. It'll probably take me a day or two, so if I'm a bit slow on the upload to this, let me know. I'm Tarke. Have a good day. Bye-bye.